what's up everybody? Welcome to Indie Comics Review. This week I'll be reviewing five indie comic books from this week and recent weeks. If this is the kind of content that you find interesting, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. So let's get started right now with these 5 reviews I've got coming for you. The first one is a book called Echolans, and this is from Image Comics, and it's written by J.H. Williams and art by W. Hayden Blackman. Echolans has this beautiful landscape layout. It's kind of a unique book. And it's about Hope, who's the main character in the story. And when it opens, Hope is running through the streets of what I think is a dystopian, fantastical San Francisco. And she's trying to escape some jackbooted brown shirt thugs that are chasing her through the city. And these guys are under the command of a wizard that rules the place. Along the way, Hope runs into her friend Core, and he joins in too. There's a strong magic element around this realm, so that the city changes from week to week. It literally just moves and evolves, sometimes day to day. This being the case, Hope and Core get lost and end up in a dead end. And when cornered, we get a look at what kind of magic that these people are capable of. This is a story of Hope and her world, and it is actually 15 years in the making. The creators talk about this in the afterwards of the book. They talk about how they kept coming back to this story even after they would do other projects, sometimes together. And the Batgirl series they did together, but then on the whole time they're thinking about Echolans. It's great that they had the courage to make this book in this landscape format too, because I think it really turns out well. Mike Allred did a book called Vertical, and it was kind of like this, but not really. It was really only, I think it was 3 inches wide and 10 inches long, so like half of a comic book. Maybe if he had done the full scale size, it would make more sense. And it kind of gave you the sense of falling, as I recall. I think I have that book somewhere, but I remember, like, I always buy Allred stuff, but I remember being like, kind of a meh thing at the time for me to read. Echolans is very different. It has a different feel, and the story flows from left to right. I think pretty smoothly, and sometimes without traditional panels. It makes you wonder why this style isn't used more often, quite frankly. It looks like Echolans probably is a 4-issue series, I think. At least I see 4 of them have already been cover art for those 4 books out there. So if you have not already read Echolans, I recommend that you do. You might enjoy this book. The next book is called Cinnamon, and it is from Behemoth Comics, and it's written and illustrated by Victoria Douglas. Cinnamon is another great-looking book. It's got a cardstock cover, quality paper. As always, Behemoth always has like high production values on their books. The story is fairly simple, though. It's based on, I guess, this Douglas's cat, Ripley, and their relationship. Cinnamon's person promises her to give her some catnip if she's a good cat and lets mommy have some TV time. But in true cat fashion, Cinnamon cannot wait. So she proceeds to launch a full-scale attack on the cabinet where the catnip is held. We see this attack through the eyes of the cat, so it's pretty fascinating to see it from their perspective. This is not a book for everyone. Obviously, if you hate cats, and shame on you if you do, but then you probably would not like this book. But for those of us who really understand and love little critters, I think you might find a place in your heart for it. Next book up is Hero Trade, Passive Aggressive. This is from Bad Idea, everyone's favorite comic line, and it's written by Matt Kent and illustrated by David Lapham. I have the aggressive version, which is the more common story. There's only 2 pages different, the end cover, front end cover page and the first page. The story is pretty much the same. This is costume adventure called The Watch or Watch. I hesitate to say a superhero because he very often acts like a dick. So we open with The Watch, just beating just the snot out of these protesters. And suddenly, post ass whipping, he gets a call on his cell phone and he takes it while in costume. It's his bank saying that his account's been hacked and his money, all of it, all $8 billion of it, is gone. They assure him that it's fully insured and we'll get it back to you in a few days, blah, blah, blah. But no. That's not good enough for this guy. Mr. Macho gets up his private plane for Russia and is off to get his loot back his damn self. There's a backstory also to this book, and it's also written by Matt Kent, and it's drawn by Klaus Janson. That one's called Erasure. And that's a little short on dialogue, but it really looks great. Bad idea, right? Has there ever been a more polarizing entity in comics, short of Rob Liefeld? I think this is another good book from them. I hesitate to find a really bad book. Many of them are better than others. Just the whole libertarian assholiness of the Watch and his entitlement is even amusing at some points. We never think of heroes as being assholes, but this guy totally fits the description. Kent is one of those guys who writes, and he can always find a new wrinkle to throw into something. Something to make a character or a story odd, and to throw it into a kind of a unique kind of an aspect. As long as Bad Idea keeps making good comics, I'm going to keep reading them. Quite frankly, as long as I don't have to jump through too many hoops to get them. I'm not going to be standing in line. I'm not going to be trying to find one place in the state where they're selling and trying to pay like $100 to get the last ones that they're probably going to just like reboot after this is over. So that said, I'm still going to buy their books because they make good stuff. By the way, my old buddies at Comics Elite have many titles of Bad Idea available. So if you ever want to just if you ever feel like you want to just say read the lot or passive aggressive and just or Pirate Queen, which is coming out, and I'll probably review that next week. You can just get it from them. I think also Golden Apple has it out here on the West Coast. On the East Coast, you guys are on your own, so I'm sure you got lots of options out there. But just in case you're interested in buying from the dreaded Bad Idea, but I do recommend this book. Next is May's book. This is on Dark Horse and is written and illustrated by Jeff Lemire. Will is a city building inspector, and his job actually of 10 years is as mundane and routine as you can imagine. At some point, Will has suffered the unthinkable tragedy of losing a child. From what I can tell, she is still missing and has been missing for a while. Will tries to remember things about her, but his memories are starting to fade. His co-workers invite him out to hang out, but he refuses. His neighbor tries to flirt with him and he just ignores it. It's like he's lost in grief, or he doesn't feel he's worthy of happiness. He's stuck in this dismal day-to-day life, to the point it seems like a punishment for him. This Jeff Lemire's art is really perfect for this book. It's all loose with squiggly lines and with a touch of watercolor here and there. It really conveys the sadness and the dread that Will is going through. I don't know if this is going to be a book about loss or about mental illness or about maybe something otherworldly, even given the last page of this book. But given Jeff Lemire's record of making really good books, I'm going to be sticking around for issue 2 for sure to check it out and see where this is going. Last book is Deadbox, and this is on Vault Comics, and it's written by Mark Russell, and it is illustrated by Benjamin Tiesma. Benjamin Tiesma, I think. I screwed it up. I have to say, right out of the box, my favorite line in this book, and there's a few good ones, is the downfall of civilization will be its willingness to defend stupidity as freedom. Let that shit sink in for a while. Deadbox, however, the book focuses on this girl, Penny, who's working at her dad's convenience store while he's sick. It turns out he's sicker than they thought, so she has to delay her college to start working or keep working at the store in this kind of a shithole town called Lost Turkey. There's this movie rental box in that store, and it rents out these movies that nobody's ever heard of. With no theater or even no Wi-Fi in this town, there's very little else for entertainment. So that's kind of like the only game in town. The thing is, though, there's something spooky about this machine. The movies seem to have a strange effect on the people who rent them. Vault has had some really good horror comics, and this could be one of them, but I'm not sure yet. The writing is good, if not for a bit confusing, and the art is definitely on par with it so far. The DVD plots and real life get kind of mixed up. At least for me, it did. Penny is watching a movie about an Earth space traveler while she cares for her father, and it becomes the plot for a while. So it's like we're watching it too. The reputation Vault has for making really good comics is going to keep me around for another issue of this book at least, as well as the stellar artwork, which is, like I said, definitely goes hand in hand. So I think this could be something good too. So a lot of good books this week. I'll talk about next week. Next week, off the top of my head, I can think of, there's a book called Maw, which slips my mind what it's about, but it's one of these odd things from Boom Studios. That's going to be coming out. And then there's this Primordial, which is another Jeff Lemire joint that's going to be coming out next week also. And continuing is going to be Wind number 10. And I think this is going to be wrapping up the story arc for this 5-issue arc for that book. And that's going to be something to look forward to as well. So yeah, and there's there's even a couple of mainstream books I'm looking forward to, like the Harley Quinn series. So we'll see if I might make an exception for that, but I'll at least pick it up and read it and see what it's about. So that's it for this Indie Comics review. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn notifications on so you know when I'm making my next video. So until next time, next Thursday, this time no longer on Tuesdays, I'll see you guys in the funny papers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.